Have you ever gone to the store and seen in the aisle this bottle that says 2-in-1 shampoo plus conditioner? Now it seems great, right? 2 hair products all in one. Saves you a trip, right? Or maybe even just combining things in your life, as there is just so much in this world. Well, to many people, I have been told that this is a terrible ick. I'm not really even sure what that actually means until I actually start to think about the concept that for me as a network engineer gives me an ick. And that is when individuals go to a store and buy an all-in-one networking device, combining both routing and wireless access. To me, this is a disgusting ick. And let me tell you why. Now, for me, I like to have these devices separated, not only from just a little bit more of a complex networking perspective, but also there is hardware things to consider. Imagine the fact that when you go into your kitchen, there are several devices that run all the time. For instance, a refrigerator. A refrigerator might or may not be something that you actually have to replace more often because it's running all the time. Same can take place with an actual networking device. Wireless access usually takes place because of a broadcasted network ID called SSID. That happens to happen all the time. The device is constantly pushing out basically a, hey, I'm here. So that's why when you bring up your, join wireless network in your apartment complex or somewhere near a downtown city, you're going to see hundreds of these SSIDs. That's because those devices are having to constantly push out wirelessly, hey, this is who I am. And that way, you are essentially creating a long, drawn-out wear on a device like that. Thus, you're going to have to replace it at some point in time. And if you have it separated, that's a little bit less of a headache when that does and will happen. So for me, I like to have the router as a separated wired device. Now, wired routers are still out there. In fact, there's quite a few that are still out there on the markets. The convenience of an all-in-one solution is not taken over everywhere. I myself own a Netgear 4200. It's a little bit higher up there for just a Homelab situation, but I like knowing what the extra processing power is there, as well as the other networking ports. And it's a pretty sweet little box that takes care of most of my needs that are going to be along routing, network address translation, as well as some other aspects of DHCP and even some VLANs. Now, what I would say about an actual wireless access point is you don't necessarily need to go buy one that's going to be that title. You can repurpose that old Netgear Nighthawk that's sitting there to actually be your wireless access point. All it takes is going in and actually disabling some features. Now, there are some firmwares out there that allow you to do it with a kind of a one-click. You can go in and look at AP mode and go ahead and switch to that radio button for your wireless access point. And there, you don't have to buy anything. If it is a little bit more of a complex, type of firmware layout in your current router, you just want to be able to disable certain services like DHCP, as well as network address translation, and even firewalls if there are some on the device. You want to make sure you set your static IP for it so you can get back to that web interface if you do never need to change anything. But most then at that point, the settings on that wireless router are going to be the wireless SSID and your passkey for that wireless access point. Now, in the future, you may want to expand a little bit more. I understand mesh networks are all the rage now in a home to be able to have that nice wireless footprint. But at that point, though, you might be able to just spend a little bit more money and go ahead and pick up wireless access points that can all link up to a controller that you might just be able to host on this fancy new web server or other servers that you're building within your Homelab setup. So don't necessarily think that that's not an option for you, because I understand most of the wireless mesh type networks are a wonderful experience that only enterprise type setups can enjoy. But for you, that is possible and within reason these days as far as devices that are out there, such as from Ubiquiti and others. So all in all, please, when starting your home lab setup, separate out these services amongst at least 2 devices. There's other services that can be split up, such as firewall, which I would also suggest. And then also when talking about VLANs, it'd be great to have a managed switch. But, that's a little bit more down the line. When you're first starting out, please at least start with those 2 devices. You'll thank me later.